everybody. I'm going to demonstrate for you today a no glue lamination technique versus the glue technique. So I'm going to show you how much time you can actually save in your service. And this is our lamination service. So first off, we're going to start off with our oil-free cleanser, and I'm just using our stimulator brush just to get off any excess oils, any dead skin cells, any makeup that may be left on there, any residue. If you don't have a stimulator brush, you can use a spoolie, which I'll show you here in a second. But the benefits of this is just stimulating the eyebrows. It's going to get the blood flowing. It's going to help with growth of the eyebrow hair. So I just talk to my clients about doing this every day, and it just kind of helps if they're trying to grow in more hair. And I start off all my services with this oil-free cleanser just for a nice clean slate to work with. Make sure all those excess oils are removed. So I'm going to start with the one eyebrow, and we're going to do the glue technique. So this is our lifting glue. We use it with our lash lifts as well. And so we're just going to apply a light layer, and then we're going to go in with our spoolie, and we're going to brush those hairs up into position, the position that we want them to be in when we do our lamination. So as you can see, we're doing like a nice curve. We're not going straight up. We want it to be in a real natural position. And first we go in with our spoolie and just kind of get all those main hairs up into position. And then we're going to go in after with our Y comb and get all those little hairs underneath. So we get every single little hair up into position before we put on our lifting lotion. So I'm going to show you here. This is what you do not want to do. You do not want to pull them straight up into this position. You want them to be a nice curved, because if they're straight up, they're just not natural, and you're just going to start getting those, grumpy old man eyebrows, which we don't want. So pull them into a nice curved position, and you can see how much time I'm taking to get them into the right position, because we haven't put on any lifting glue yet. Lifting lotion. So we're going to do the tail here, and again, we're going to take our spoolie and just brush all those main hairs into position. So we're going to apply our lifting glue over top, and I'm going to use my silicone brush. This allows for no product wastage, and they're easily sterilized in between each client, eliminating single-use plastics. So we apply quite a bit of product to the eyebrow, and I'm going to show you on the other eyebrow how we're just throwing that lotion right on. We're not even putting the glue on, and then we're just going to lightly brush the hairs up into the general direction that we want them into. We don't have to worry too much right now what position they're in. And we're going to use the cellophane. We're going to push it up. So we're going to push it onto the brow, and we're going to pull it up so that it holds all those hairs into place. So this is basically how we can get away with not using the glue, because the cellophane's holding it into place. So halfway through your 5 minutes, 5 minutes is the general number. If someone has a weaker brow, you want to go with a 4 minutes. If you have to go less than that, we recommend using our Bee Pampered brow soap instead, because their hair health can't handle it. And then if somebody has a really stubborn eyebrow, those really thick, coarse hairs, you can bump it up to 6 minutes. So 5 minutes is the general number. So halfway through, we're going to take our Y comb, and you can see that's where I'm going to position those hairs into place more properly than I did the first time. The first time we just kind of got all the main hairs up, and then we went in halfway through, so 2.5 minutes in, and we brushed those hairs into place. So now we're going to remove our lifting lotion with our silicone brush and get off all the excess lotions. And then the key here is to wet the eyebrows, because the water is what's going to stop the activation, and we do not want any residue of that lotion on there because it will over process. So you can see I'm taking a very wet Q-tip, and I'm just brushing it over the eyebrow hairs in the same direction, just to stop any of that activation, because the last thing we want to do is throw on more product over top and have that first product still working and then it's going to, like I said, it's going to overactivate, and then you're going to get the frizzy brows, which we do not want. So on the no glue technique, I'm just removing it again with our silicone brush, and then I'm taking a wet Q-tip and I'm just wetting the area quite a bit of water, and then I'm going to go over it with a dry side of the Q-tip, and I'm going to just dry it off before I add on my next setting lotion. So you can see I'm taking the excess water off, and I let it sit for about 10 seconds on there just to kind of make sure that everything has stopped activating. So the next step is we're going to take our number 2 setting lotion, and we're going to apply over the eyebrow. Again, if you're using the glue technique, you need to use your silicone brush and apply the lotion over the entire eyebrow, which is going to be using a lot more product as if you were to do the no brow or no glue technique. So with the no glue technique, we're going to apply it onto the eyebrow, and then we're going to brush it through. So you don't need to use as much product. You're only using 2 pumps per eyebrow with the no glue technique. So I'm going to apply the second pump there, and then I'm going to take my spoolie again and just brush them up into position. They're more pliable now that we've broken down all those proteins, so they're able to move into the position that you want them to move in. And then we're going to hold it in place again with our cellophane, pressing down and lifting up. So halfway through, you're going to go in again with your wide comb and just brush that no glued eyebrow up into position. And then after 5 to 6 minutes, you can leave this one on a little bit longer because it's building all those proteins up, and it's actually making the hair really healthy. We're going to go in and do the same removal technique as we did with the number 1 lotion. We're going to remove all the excess with our silicone brush, and then we're going to go over it with our wet Q-tip and just make sure that we've stopped all that activation. Again, you want to use quite a bit of water at this point because you want to get all that excess lotion off and stop all of that activating so we don't have over frizzy, over processed eyebrows. So again, with the no glue technique, we're going over it, getting off all that excess number 2 lotion, and then we'll go over it with our wet Q-tip. I find with the no glue technique, we're getting more of an even coverage of the lotions. We're not having that glue stand in our way. So I find you're getting a more even lift. I personally find it works a lot better. Plus, you're saving on all that time that we spent gluing up those hairs in the first place. So here we're going to add on our Henna Bee. So we have specially formulated our henna and our lifting lotions to work together. So we are going to apply the henna on top of the lamination at this point once we've removed all of the lotions. And we're not going to leave it on for quite as long because it's going to process quite a bit faster than it normally would. So what I would suggest is choose a lighter color than you think you're going to need and leave it on for a few minutes, and then take off the first part of the brow and take a look and see how long you can leave it on for. We want to leave it on for as long as we can. However, like I said, it's going to process quite a bit faster because we've already done that chemical treatment on the eyebrows. So you can see on the glue technique, I want to be careful of not moving those eyebrow hairs around. So we're going to go up into the direction of the hair. And we're just going to put an even layer of the henna on, and then I like to just kind of throw it on really quickly. Again, we're not really looking for that skin stain with the lamination because we are not leaving it on quite as long. So we're just tinting the hairs. So if your client's coming in and they want a fuller look and a more makeup filled in look, then I would suggest just doing the henna treatment. If they're looking for more of that microbladed look, that hair stroke look, then we can do the lamination and the henna, and the henna is going to just tint the hair. So it's going to give it more of that stroked look, not so much a filled in look. So once we've got our henna set, I like to kind of go in right away and just check the middle part of the eyebrow to make sure that it is processing not too quickly. And we also want that to have a natural fade. We don't really want it to be dark throughout. We want that part to be a little bit lighter. So I like to take that part off first, kind of assess how long we want to leave it on for. Again, you want to leave it on for as long as you can, but it's probably only going to be about 3 to 4 minutes before you're removing it because it's processing that hair pretty quickly. So again, choose a lighter color and try and leave it on a little bit longer, because the longer you leave the henna on for, the longer it's going to last on your client. So you can see on the no glue technique how nicely that henna just removed right off. And with the glue technique, because there is a little bit of glue left on there, a little bit of residue, you can see how you got to kind of go in with a spoolie with some water, and it just kind of gently removes all the excess tint in there. But it just shows you the difference between the no glue and the glue. So they both turned out pretty good. I personally find I got a more even coverage with the no glue technique, and I will be using that technique from now on because it saves me on about 20 minutes of my treatment time. So I have bumped, if someone is coming in for just a lamination, I used to book half an hour because I didn't know how long it was going to take me to glue those hairs up into place, and now I book 15 minutes. If they want the henna on top, then I book the half an hour treatment. So I've cut my time down in half by using the no glue technique, and I'm really loving it. I find it's just a way better service overall, plus you're saving all that time, and so you can fit 2 people in an appointment that you normally would have fit 1 person in. If you're doing a lamination on somebody, I advise using a hard glue or a hard wax, a stripless wax. If you're using a soft wax, you have to be very careful because the skin around the area is a lot more sensitive after that chemical treatment, and we don't want to get any tearage, any rippage of the skin. So I recommend doing a stripless wax. You might have to do a little bit more tweezing with this wax, as it might not catch every single hair close to the eyebrow and give you that nice clean line, but it definitely guarantees that you're not going to rip your client's skin. If you're doing just the henna treatment, you're fine with doing the soft wax if that's what you're comfortable with, because you haven't really compromised the skin around the eyebrow. So with henna, I like the soft wax because it does give that nice clean crisp line, but when I'm doing a lamination, I definitely opt for the hard wax and then just spend a little bit more time tweezing and cleaning up the eyebrow area. So when I'm done with my treatment, I like to go over with our number 3 lotion. So if we've done just the lamination, then I definitely go in with just the number 3 lotion. And if they want a style, what I like to do is I do kind of half a pump of the number 3 lotion into our brow soap, and I will give them a little style with that. And then that gives me an opportunity to talk to them about the brow soap as a retail product, and also you'll see our brow highlighter. So this is my fun part, is I like to play with the eyebrows. So this is why I do take a little bit longer with my services, because I like to just see how fluffy they are and maybe get it on Instagram. So here I'm going in with our brow soap. So I'm just getting that product on to the eyebrow, and then I'm going to show you how I like to style the eyebrows. I'm not a big fan of trimming the eyebrows. I used to be, until I kind of figured when you're doing the lamination and then you're trimming the eyebrows, they look really good for that picture on Instagram. However, when they go home and they're not styling it perfectly up every single day, or the lamination starts to come out in a couple of months, you're going to notice gaps and holes in their hair. So from now on, unless they have a big curly Q eyebrow, you know, like those big stubborn grandpa hairs, I like to call them, I like to do this where I put the product on the brow and then I use my spoolie and I just drag those hairs across to get that nice clean shape. So this way we're not trimming the eyebrows, we're not compromising the eyebrows. Once they've washed their eyebrows and they've taken all of the styling soap out, their eyebrows are just going to look more normal and healthy, as opposed to gaps and holes where they feel like they have to brush them up into place every single day. Then I like to finish my treatment off with our brow highlighter. I find it just gives a nice professional touch to the service, something they might not normally have done at home, or if they're really interested, I give them a mirror and I just kind of teach them how to do it themselves. So as you can see, I do a light line in the shape that we want the eyebrow to be highlighted, and then I remove any excess product on my brush and I just gently pull down and get that product to be more spread out, and then we're going to go in and we're going to blend. So I'm just pulling down and making sure that that line isn't too crisp and it's nice and faded down. And then we're going to go back over and we're just going to blend that product into the eyebrow. If you have somebody who has a darker skin, this color is going to be really nice on them, but you don't need to use as much product. You want it to be a little bit more translucent as opposed to opaque. So again, we're just going to create that nice fine line underneath the eyebrow using our Bee Pampered brow highlighter. And then we're going to pull that product down. Now we're going to pull that product down and just make sure that that line is not too harsh. And this is a great time to talk to your client about all of our retail products. So we have our 6 eyebrow pencil colors that match our henna colors perfectly. So it makes it really easy for color matching to your client and makes it last a little bit longer between their appointments. And we have our brow soap, we have our oil-free cleanser, we have our brow highlighter, and we also have our serum infused lengthening mascara, as well as our brow and lash growth serum. So you can find all of that online at shopbeepampered.com, and I hope you enjoyed this video.